Happy New Year, everybody. So I'm recording in my car. It's so much easier at the moment. I am so glad to be getting back to you. It's been maybe a week and a half or so I apologize for the delay. New Year's resolution is to get back to being as focused as I can, when I can, on this vlog, on this page. I know a lot of my followers, they contact me either through here or mainly through Instagram, through IG, and have let me know how inspirational and how helpful, whether it's the IG page or this page here on YouTube, how helpful it's been. So thank you for continuing to just let me know that, this is something that you guys want. This is something that you guys are able to get help from and get inspiration from and get hope as well. So, okay, we are going into this video, into this vlog, knowing that I have been admitted to the hospital due to incompetent cervix at 23 weeks and measured, I believe it was 1.6. I don't know if it's centimeters or millimeters. I don't remember. It's been quite some time. God, it's been a long time. I can't believe all that happened. So bear with me if I refer to notes because it's been 7 or 8 months. And I'm going backwards, trying to go back to everything. So it is 2 or 3 weeks in. At this point, I'm getting daily NSTs, non-stress tests, where they're measuring the babies, monitoring them with the fetal monitoring for about 20 minutes twice a day, usually between 8 and 9 a.m. in the morning, and then between 7 to 9 p.m. in the evening, after the shift change, basically. And they're doing great so far. Sometimes this is 30 minutes or so, 40 minutes, no big deal. So we're 2 weeks in. Every Tuesday is when I get my weekly ultrasounds, weekly or bi-weekly growth scans. Every day I see a team of physicians come in. It is the nurse crew, so the morning crew and the night crew who come together. Typically the floor nurse, I'm not sure if I'm using the right term, hospital term, but the nurse in charge or the charge nurse. And then from there, the OBGYN who's on staff with the hospital, and then the maternal fetal medicine doctor with the hospital. So the maternal fetal medicine doctor, the MFM or the high-risk doctor, happens to be from the same practice that I was originally going to. I had a specific doctor, Dr. Locksmith, and then there was about 6 or 7 other physicians in that practice. And every week they rotate at that hospital because they're affiliated with that hospital. The clinic just happens to be outside of the facility, just a few blocks down the street. So every week they rotate. So the doctor who actually admitted me from the high-risk doctor was not my specific doctor because he was on call at the hospital that week. But they consulted to confirm that I needed to be admitted. So fast forward about 2 weeks later, doctor comes in, not my high-risk doctor, but one from his practice comes in. And the first thing he says to me, it's probably 7 in the morning because they can come anytime between pretty much after 6 a.m. it's fair game that they can come in and talk to you. And comes in and says, "Are you ready to go home?" And I say, I hesitate. I was completely thrown off guard. And I say, I don't know. Not sure. I haven't even done my scans for today yet. And he's like, "Oh, okay." And I'm just like, how do you not know that? But okay, whatever. So then from there, they let me know to go ahead and start getting ready. So I go ahead and order my breakfast, so that way, it takes a while to come in. So that way, by the time I do my scan, I come back, my breakfast is ready to go. I do my scan, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I should have said this 3 minutes ago. But this is all about, this particular video is all about advocating for yourself. Pay attention to every single ultrasound, every single gesture, every single facial expression at any appointment, whether it's in the beginning stages, which is with your infertility and your reproductive endocrinologist, your OBGYN, your primary care doctor, any specialist. Watch their facial expressions. Watch everything that they're clicking on. Try to take note, ask questions. Take notes. If you see a term or a phrase that you're not understanding, ask a question, and then also try to remember it in your head so that way you can go back and Google it later on. And I've not always been like that. I was not like that in the very, very, very beginning. Before my infertility, I was very, very, very complacent. And then as I started going in, and once I started realizing I was getting the runaround, early on, I realized I needed to advocate for myself. Because no one was going to do it for me, but they were going to be willing to take my money. So, anyways, sorry about that little lecture, but I'm just, after all I've been through, I'm just really, really all about helping people. So, after that ultrasound, I went there. I noticed that my cervix was still very short. By this point, it was 0.4, 0.5. I think by the time I got admitted, I think I got to a point. When I got admitted, I believe, like, when I got it, okay, at 20 weeks, I was 1.6. By the time I got admitted, I was 0.4. So I was still 0.4 at this point, teetering between 0.3. And I noticed the growth, that the girls were starting to kind of lag. I know they were, really small babies. I'm quite short and small myself, so I wasn't expecting very large babies. But I noticed when it said the gestational age which is what they should be based on, their due date and the date of conception, versus the actual measuring that they were doing, which is always approximate. It was at least 2 to 3 weeks gaps behind. They were growing, but it was just such a large gap. And then when you notice that the discordance, which is basically the difference, the percentage between the two as far as in size, I believe 10% is when it's when it's of concern, and they were at the teens at this point. So I'm not asking the ultrasound tech this information because I can see it, I'm observing it, I'm aware, I'm somewhat educated on my situation. So I know if I ask serious questions, and they're not able to provide me with those answers, they're going to defer to the doctor. So I took the information that I saw, and then I was wheeled back up to my room to antepartum. And then from there, a few minutes later, I saw that in my patient portal, luckily the hospital had a patient portal, that they had already started to, what is the word I'm looking for? Put in the notes for, that day scan. So I read everything, and basically everything that I had saw was confirmed. That, they were growing slower. There was, the heart rate and everything like that was fine, but the growth and discordance, things, all of that. So I was like, okay, well, I don't see how I would go home, thinking back to what the doctor had said earlier. So maybe I'm looking at the time because I have to get back to work soon. And I was like, well, okay, whatever. We'll see what they say. Clearly, I'm not going home. This is what I'm thinking to myself. And then from there, it basically just went downhill. For the past 2 weeks, I was pretty pleasant, really good. I mean, I was sad at moments, but after that is when I really started to put my foot down, I guess you could say, or I can't even think of the right term. But at this point, the OBGYN, who is affiliated with the hospital, comes in and says, well, I looked over everything, and and it looks like we think it's best for you to go home. You've been pretty steady, I guess you could say, consistent, or whatever the case may be. And I was like, what? I was completely thrown off. I was like, are you sure? And she was like, yes. So then I begin to challenge her, and I say, okay, what about the discordance? What about the growth? what about this? What about that? And she is like, I guess she was very much surprised. Like, I think she was taken aback that I had all this information and that I had pulled out my phone, went into the patient portal, and was reading the report verbatim. I guess she didn't realize that the access to it was that quick, or that I, as a patient, was going to do that. And so I let her know. I was like, yeah, what you're saying does not match up with what is in this report, and I don't feel comfortable leaving. So then she said she would contact the MFM, that high-risk doctor who was on call that week, who I saw earlier that morning, and, they will consult from there. I immediately called my husband afterwards. I felt like her bedside manner was horrible. I called my husband, I let him know, and he's like, if you don't feel right, call the high-risk doctor, call your OBGYN. So I called my high-risk doctor, I placed on hold with his nurse, and I give her a synopsis, like an overview of what's happening. She puts me on hold because my MFM, is in the room with the patient. As I'm on hold, my OBGYN comes in. My OBGYN does rounds at that hospital. And so every day or every other day, there's a different doctor from that practice who comes in, and they always come to see whoever their patients are that are, admitted. So my actual OBGYN comes in, and I let her know what's happening, and she's like, no. She was like, absolutely not. You're not going home. You're supposed to be here through like the end of your pregnancy. She was like, there's no way you're going home. Who is this person who said you could go home? And I gave her the information, and she advised me to call. I was like, I'm on hold right now with my MFM. And she was like, your MFM is going to make the final call. Go ahead and give them a call and let me know what happens, and have them let me know what happens. I said, okay. As she left, I was about to call my MFM back, and then they called me back, and I let them know. I said, hey, Dr. Locksmith, this is what's going on. Such and such and such and such. He asked me for the name of the OBGYN. He asked me the name of the MFM. He asked me for pretty much all the information, because he hadn't had a chance to look at my chart yet as far as what happened during that ultrasound. And then he was like, basically he got upset. Not at me, but he was not happy. And let it be known that he was like, you're staying till at the very least 28 weeks. And at that point, I was 25 weeks, I believe. I probably was about 25. Yeah, I was like 25 weeks. And he was like, you're staying till at least 28 weeks. And I'm going to go ahead and text, so I guess he had the personal numbers of the physicians who are currently in charge right now. Did that. And then a little while later, the charge nurse comes in, or the head nurse for the floor or whatever for the day comes in. And I basically let her know that I did not want that particular physician, that OBGYN, in charge of my care ever again in life. That she did not need to speak to me directly anymore, because she could have put my child, or my children, I should say, in jeopardy, my health in jeopardy. I understand that a hospital is a business and they have a turnaround time, but I need you to kind of sit there, have a little bit more compassion, have a little bit better bedside manner, and to really review your patient's chart and be prepared to answer questions accordingly when you're challenged. And honestly, after that 2 weeks, basically shit hit the fan. I do apologize if you guys are like loving that I really don't curse on here, but to just be completely frank, shit hit the fan from that point on. It was not a dull moment from week 25 to week 28. And so I clearly stayed in the hospital much longer. I stayed through 29 weeks. And then it's just multiple things that occurred and happened that I can get into another video at some point. I don't want this to drag on any longer. But basically, to just recap, just advocate. Advocate for yourself. If something's suspicious, if you feel like something is off in your care, please don't be afraid to challenge these physicians. Yes, they have 4, 8, 10, 12 years worth of experience, but they make mistakes. They're seeing tons of patients, and it's easy for them to completely you know, look over something that really, really could be key to your health. Very, 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 very key. So anyways, thank you guys for subscribing. Follow me here. Make sure you press the like and subscribe. And also follow me on my Instagram page, Confessions of an Aspiring Mom. And I'll be back soon.